Hola, hola, bienvenidos, damas y caballeros, a otro episodio de Carolina Language Solutions presenting Survival Spanish, episodio 1. Ladies and gentlemen, soy Profe Don Omar. I'm Profe Don Omar here, and I'm here to assist you in being able to utilize basic Spanish to have a quick conversation, right? So what we're going to be doing in this actual series is providing you some basic terms and phrases that you can use. So oftentimes, people say, oh man, I don't want to really learn the language, but I want to be able to utilize phrases, right? So this time I'm bringing you some terms and phrases that you can easily learn and actually memorize and utilize in your daily life, in your daily routine. I'm going to try to slow it down. We definitely want to make sure that you get these. This is not a quick episode. However, the information is quick to be learned if you are paying close attention. Once again, we're going to give you our social media platform information. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Carolina Language Solutions. And of course, right here in YouTube land, you can follow us on Profe Don Omar, Habla Conmigo TV. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to get this information across the world to those people trying to learn Espanol. Ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into nuestra agenda de hoy, or el horario de hoy, the schedule or the agenda for today's class. Vamos a empezar con la palabra del día. We're going to start with the word of the day, and then we're going to jump right into our survival Spanish guide, right? So we've got the different things that we're going to talk about here today. This is a throwback Thursday when I'm recording this, so you might know some of these things that we're saying here. It ranges across, spreads across the musical and TV shows of the 80s and 90s. So if you know them, hey, great. And of course, we've got our timer over here in the left-hand corner where it says 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce this information to you in 10 minutes, but many of my subscribers have told me, as well as some friends and my brother, of course, have always said, hey, man, slow it down. Right? Some of us don't know this stuff like you do. So I said, man, I'm going to slow this down for my people and see if I can't give you something that you can understand. I'm trying to put it down so you can pick it up, if you understand what I'm saying here. Okay, so vamos a empezar aquí con la palabra de hoy. You know how we've been doing the last couple of classes here. We're starting with our word of the day, or the word for today. Y aquí tenemos y tú. Right? Y tú, make sure when you say this that it's because you see these question marks, and there might be even a question right now for the question mark on the left. Ladies and gentlemen, this question mark right here, I want to keep it simple for you to understand why we have it there. In Spanish, you can literally identify when a question is being stated if you're reading it simply by reading left to right. If you understand like I do, when you read English, you don't know if a question is being stated until you get to the very end. And then you might be like me, you got to go back and read it, because if you're reading silently, most people don't read out loud, but if you're reading silently, you got to go back over, read it again to make it sound like a question, right? So in Espanol, we can put that upside down question mark to symbolize it being a question. Y tú, make sure you've got that rise in intonation there at the end of the statement to make it a question, all right? Y tú, right? ¿Y qué significa y tú en inglés? Well, in English, significa and you, right? This is what we call a trigger phrase. What is a trigger phrase? I'm going to trigger the person to respond to the same question they actually asked me, right? So you're going to see that jump off in these next couple of slides. Make sure you've written that down. Y tú and you. If you need to go back, please rewind and start again. This is educational for a reason, right? So, and you self-pace this thing. Do what you need to do. All right. So aquí tenemos la primera cosa que vamos a aprender. Here we have the first thing that we're going to learn. El título es Hello. All right. If you know that song, shout out to you. Aquí tenemos los saludos, right? We're talking about greetings here, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to give you quick ways to greet people in Espanol. Now, I'm not going to give you every single greeting that you need to know in Spanish. Why? Because who uses 17 greetings in one conversation, right? You only need one. And I'm going to give you a few here depending on the time of day as well as what you want to use. Okay. So make sure you stay here with me. We've got primary greetings. This is something I call primary greetings. Nobody else is going to ever call it this. This is what you get from Profe Don Omar. All right. So we're breaking the ice with this primary greetings that we're going to have here. And so the first one is hola, right? So we've seen hola. If you watched Sesame Street back in the day with Maria, or you've seen Dora the Explorer, you've got hola. You know it means hello or hi, right? Buenos dias, right? Buenos dias. Now we have good morning. So let's make sure you understand that you can use these together if you want to. How about trying hola, buenos dias? Right? Hello, good morning, right? It's okay. We know Diddy came out with a song that had a little hook with that. If you know what I'm talking about, Throwback Thursday, that's our scene right here tonight. Hola, buenos dias, right? Hello, good morning. We've also got buenas tardes. Repita, por favor. Buenas tardes, right? Buenas tardes, good afternoon. And then our last greeting, we have buenas noches. Buenas noches being good evening. Right? Good evening. Buenas noches. Not bonus nachos. I've heard that before on YouTube and other various locations. Buenas noches. All right. Make sure you practice that one. Get it together really well. It's got an asterisk by it, ladies and gentlemen. That means it's getting ready to pop off into something else later on. Stay with me here. All right. So I like to do a follow-up. It's called a secondary greeting. So like after I hit you with the first greeting, the primary greeting, I'm going to follow up with a second greeting, but we only have two that I'm giving you right here. All right. Aquí tenemos dos. ¿Qué tal? Right? O cómo estás? Let me move myself out of the way so you can see that, right? I'll put myself right here. Let me get, yeah, right there. ¿Cómo estás? Right? ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Y qué significa qué tal? I'm going to move myself over in the top right corner, top left, sorry. How's it going? Right? ¿Qué tal? How's it going? ¿Cómo estás? How are you? Right? Now, understand this. It's okay for you to utilize ¿Cómo estás? There's another one that we can also use, which is ¿Cómo está? I don't have it on here because we're having a basic familiar conversation. What do I mean by familiar? It means you're familiar with the person that you're speaking with. Okay, so it's either a younger person, a person that you've known for a while. These are the people that you're going to utilize ¿Qué tal and cómo estás with. We'll do another series in which we talk strictly about the formal scenarios. All right, but however, now we're jumping into after we left the primary greetings, after we've left the follow-up, right? We've got the next question online. We've got ¿Cómo te llamas? Right? ¿Cómo te llamas? Which is a familiar form of a question. ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Qué significa cómo te llamas? Aquí tenemos, what do you call yourself? Now, if you've ever taken a Spanish class, I can guarantee you this. 99% of your classes have told you, oh, ¿cómo te llamas simply means what's your name, right? No, ma'am. No, sir. No, señor. No, señorita. No, señora. It does not mean what's your name. That's a loose translation. Okay. It is a loose translation. I will give you that. However, word for word, if we had to break this down, it's basically telling us, what do you call yourself? Okay. Because oftentimes we're going to run into a situation where people like to misuse the response, or they don't reply correctly because they have in their mind, I need to translate this in English. So I want you to learn today, ¿Cómo te llamas? Simply means, what do you call yourself, right? So let's take a look. The formal way to ask this, all right? The formal way to ask this, ¿Cómo se llama? Right? Repita, por favor, ¿Cómo se llama? So what do we mean by formal? All right? So a formal scenario would be you meeting someone for the first time, right? Or someone you want to show respect to, an elder, or perhaps somebody in a high profile position, or perhaps it's someone just you've never known and you just met them at a party and you want to know their name. You want to know, what do you call yourself? All right. So podemos usar, we can use ¿Cómo se llama? Or ¿Cómo te llamas? Depending on your scenario. All right. I want you to understand what familiar and formal mean. Once again, familiar, right? Meaning that I'm speaking to someone younger than me, someone that's a family member or a close friend, or someone that I, have known for many years. The formal scenario, meaning that it's someone older than me, someone in a high profile position that I want to give respect to, or someone I've never met before, and I want to show them that type of respect. So aquí tenemos ¿cómo te llamas o cómo se llama? They both mean the same thing. Make sure you get that down, damas y caballeros. Okay, so now, para responder a esta pregunta, to respond to this question, all right, podemos usar, we can use me llamo. All right, repita, me llamo. All right. ¿Y qué significa me llamo en inglés? All right, aquí tenemos my name is, or I call myself. I didn't put that up there, but I want you to understand me llamo can mean my name is, or I call myself. ¿Cómo te llamas? What do you call yourself? Me llamo Omar, or me llamo Profe Don Omar, right? So you understand that I call myself that, right? So make sure you get this down as well. Now, we're exchanging pleasantries, right? After you've greeted this person, you've done a follow-up, you've asked them their names, right? We've done all that. And then I want to get into exchanging a pleasantry. What do I mean by exchanging a pleasantry? Isn't that special, right? We want to make this person feel special here. So, aquí tenemos mucho gusto, encantado, or encantada. Remember, I put that ampersand right there, or the @ sign that some of us young people know it as. Basically, this is going to mean that encantado we're going to use for a guy if he's the one saying it, and encantada if it's a young lady or a woman that is saying this particular phrase. So we've got aquí tenemos mucho gusto, repita mucho gusto, y aquí tenemos encantado o encantada. All right. Y la última frase que tenemos aquí, the last phrase that we have here is igual or igualmente. All right, igual or igualmente. You can use either or. That's why I put the mente in parentheses here. All right, it's totally okay, whichever one you want to use. Now, ¿qué significa mucho gusto? Pues en inglés, nice to meet you. All right, mucho gusto, nice to meet you. Encantado, pleased to meet you. Okay, pleased to meet you. Y la última frase, igual o igualmente, same or same here. All right, make sure you got those down in tu cuaderno. If not, pause the screen and continue to write those down. All right, so now we're moving. Like, ladies and gentlemen, this is a quick conversation. I just want to know, I want to give this person a greeting. I want to follow up with a how are you or how are things going? I want to be able to ask them what their name is, and I want to be able to say my name is this, and I can also flip the script in a second. We're going to talk about this, but before we get to that, aquí tenemos expresar origen, right? Expresar origen. We're expressing origin. What do we mean by that? Expressing origin is basically us asking where someone is from, right? Where's someone from? I want to know, where are you from, right? So aquí tenemos la forma familiar. De donde eres, or de donde eres tú, if you want to be super like grammatically correct, but you can definitely use de donde eres. Okay, y esa pregunta significa where are you from in inglés. De donde eres. Okay, de donde eres. Little intonation right there for you people. Y aquí tenemos la manera formal. We got the formal way here. De donde es usted, or de donde es. Either way is correct. Remember, we've been talking about familiar and formal. I'm trying to teach you this on the fly. So make sure you understand. Do you remember what familiar means? When do we use a familiar situation? When do we use these, right, in a formal situation? Right? So make sure you understand familiar y formal. All right? Familiar y formal. De donde eres? De donde es? Okay? Now, las dos preguntas significan where are you from? Both of these questions mean the same exact thing. All right. You've got to decide what situation you're in to determine when I should use de donde eres or de donde es. Okay. Now, para responder, to respond to the question, where are you from? We're always going to use yo soy de or soy de. That's why we've got the yo in parentheses. You don't necessarily have to use it. All right, it's up to you. If you're in a beginning scenario where these are the first steps for you in Spanish or in Español, I prefer you to use yo soy de, because in the upcoming scenarios and episodes that we're going to have, you're going to need to know what yo means. All right, so aquí tenemos yo soy de. Repita, yo soy de. That soy is pronounced exactly like the stuff that you put on an egg roll or fried rice. Yo soy de, okay? Yo soy de. Let's move along. Like for me, before we move along, antes de continuar, yo puedo decir, I can say, yo soy de Carolina del Norte. All right, so I can say I'm from North Carolina. All right, so some people say, yo soy de Norte Carolina. Hey, man, whatever floats your boat, but I use yo soy de Carolina del Norte. All right, I'm from North Carolina. All right, so now, oh snap, we got something that's coming back to us as a throwback. Y tú, what did we say this was? Y tú is a trigger phrase. Basically, I can ask, ¿de dónde eres? ¿De dónde es? ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo se llama? I can ask that person that. And instead of them repeating the exact same question, they can just use ¿y tú? And that throws the question back at me. It's a trigger phrase, is like what I like to call it, and it basically means I'm gonna shoot you back this same question without having to say the same exact question. So oftentimes you'll get yourself into a conversation. They might say, ¿Cómo te llamas? You might say, Me llamo Omar. ¿Y tú? Oh man, now you need to answer this question back with Me llamo Roberto, or Me llamo Julissa, or whatever your name may happen to be. All right, so now we're at the scenario where we're going to close out this quick conversation that we've had already. It's so hard to say goodbye, but it really isn't, ladies and gentlemen. We have adios, chao, nos vemos, o buenas noches. ¿Y qué significa cada? All right, what does each one of these mean? Adios, we've got goodbye. Ciao can simply mean bye. It's utilized in a lot of languages, actually. All right, so ciao can be bye, adios, goodbye. Nos vemos. Repita, nos vemos. All right. For me, it means see you. Some people like, it's like we will see each other. If you want to be like super grammatically correct. But for me, it's just see you. Nos vemos, see you. Okay. Buenas noches. Remember, we had an asterisk on it, right? At the beginning, it told us good evening. And we can utilize it as a despedida or a farewell as good night. Okay. So make sure you know buenas noches can also mean good evening or good night. So you can utilize it in both scenarios. Al principio, at the beginning, y al fin, at the end. Okay. Okay. So here we are. You know, my man, he's here. He's telling us to wrap it up. What do we need to do here, ladies and gentlemen? We need to repasa. We need to review this conversation that we just went through. All right. Hopefully you put it down on paper. You can have this information and rehearse it, right? Practica. Say it out loud. All right. Especially if you're by yourself. All right. So I'm going to move myself right here to the middle. And the next thing I have here, a note that you want to make sure you have here, is create a mock conversation. What I mean by this is you want to facilitate a conversation between two people on paper and read each part out loud. Okay. So that you understand, hey, I know both parts. And when I actually go through this conversation live and in person, I know and expect to know what the other person is going to say. Okay, so make sure you put this down on paper and you rehearse it, you practice it. And then the last thing, do it out loud, record it as a voice note, and then make sure you repeat it out loud. Okay, these are things that's going to help you, damas y caballeros. All right. So once again, I want to thank you for joining me right here for this episodio uno on survival Spanish, ladies and gentlemen. But before we close out, we want to make sure you know, if you're looking for more self-paced content, we've got some things here available for you. So make sure you take a look at these. And if they interest you, make sure you hit the link in the below here of the video. We have this available to you. You can definitely pick these up on your own and get some further practice. If you're, not looking to just do the YouTube thing, you want something to bolster your experience and your skills in Spanish. These are some of the things that we have available for you. Make sure you check the link below. Also, damas y caballeros, muchísimas gracias. Thank you very much for joining us. Soy Profe Don Omar. I'm Omar, Profe Omar. And this has been a production by Carolina Language Solutions. We're doing Survival Spanish episode uno. I hope you enjoyed this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to move myself over here into this corner because I want to make sure you understand that we have our social media platform information right here for you. Make sure, once again, that you like, share, and subscribe to Profe Don Omar Habla Conmigo TV. Damas y caballeros, mil gracias. Nos vemos.